What up? What up?
Yo, what's up, Adrian?
I'm not sure you guys doing.
Great. How you doing?
Doing all right. Driving from back to my shop. Been out all day installing and causing havoc.
You been out installing?
Yeah, today. Yeah. I
Guys
can't
just
do the.
been
I can't do.
short-handed or what?
I can't do the office thing all day, man. I have to go out and work.
I hear you, man. The same way. I go
Yeah.
crazy just sitting around the office all day.
Yeah. So we did three, two custom C's. What do you call it? C's guard. One for a salsa bar and one for a juice bar. And then one shower install. And then took one down. Quite a bit today.
Cool, man.
Quite a bit.
Keep you out of trouble.
Yes, sir. Are you still installing, or did you step back? Not you don't do it anymore.
So, I mean, I do from time to time. It's like I have people ask me for a quote. Like I've got a couple quotes. Well, let's see. I've got one out right now. I have one or two. And I just first of all, I tell them like, look, I don't do anything under $2,000. So that
Yeah.
pretty much whittles it down, you know. And then so if
Even if it's a single door, you go $2,000.
yeah, yep. It's just me, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I've got my assistant, you know, my on my mushroom farm.
Yeah.
But he's big, you know, corn-fed farmer guy. So it's like, you know, I asked him, it's like, hey man, if I, you know, ever need a hand to installing the shower door, do you want to do it? He's like, yeah, I'll do it. So I haven't actually had to do it yet.
Yeah.
But I figured, dude, I'm not even gonna mess with it. You know, it's like if it's a job big enough and they're willing to pay what I'm asking to make it worth my while, I'll go do it. If not, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Yeah.
cool kind to be in that position.
I'm starting to do that too. Like there's some customer out there, man. They just want to nickel and dime you. I go, you know what? Those days are over, man. You pay my price or go somewhere else. I really don't care.
Yeah.
We are so busy. I'm so busy, man. I think I have like, I don't know how many shower doors I have right now. I have a lot. And I don't know how I'm gonna do in the next 2 weeks. So I don't know. Figure it out. And more are coming in. More in the back end of those are coming in. So you know, yeah,
Yeah, it's funny how that works. It seems that one, you know, there's like a saying that if you chase the world, it runs away.
yeah,
But if you run away, the world chases you. You know,
Hmm.
yeah,
it is so true.
yeah. And
Like,
then like, yeah, and it like these customers that I have, or these installs I have. I mean, I bumped my prices up a little bit, just because I'm getting a little too busy and I need to slow down a little bit. So I always hike my price up a little more, if I get so I can slow down a little bit. No, they want me to do it because I heard you guys are the best. I'm like, okay. Are
that's
you gonna
awesome.
bid anywhere else? No, no. I heard you guys are the best. I'm like, damn it. Okay. Well, someone needs to stop saying that. I'm like, yeah, anyways. No, but no, people just say they just said, no, I want you to do it. They've seen either either they had a family member have something done by me, and so once that happens, I mean, basically the job's yours. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, but it's a blessing and it's overwhelming. Sometimes it's just too much. I need a yeah,
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 well, you know, the tricky part is when things slow down a little bit, not to
so
change your mind and go back to change, you know, don't change your price.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
you know, because if you stick with it, it'll stay that way. It really will.
Because
And you
I'm like you. I'm
realize,
like you. But
no, you just realize, man, I should have been charging more all along, you know?
exactly. Like you. Like I. For a single door, I mean, I don't know if I could do $2,000 on a single door. That's kind of, you know, I mean, I could probably do 1,500 maybe on a single door. And that's still my markup's still good. My labor rate's still good on that one. And single door, we're in and out 30, 40 minutes. And
Yeah.
I still charge quite a bit for labor. I mean, I'm not cheap on my labor. My labor is
Yeah.
expensive. So
Right.
um, I still charge what almost like $800 still solid still. You know, it's just what it is. I mean, you want to pay. And then for my door and panel, yeah, I'm $2,000
Yeah.
more. I won't do the door and panel for less than 2,000 or more. I mean, so I'll walk in, the customer goes, "Oh, how much? Can you give me both of you for $2,000?" All right, no, 2,000. Anything less than if it's 60 by 80 inches, that's where my center's at. 60 by 80. That's where that's where I sell it at. If they want it, it's $2,000. Okay,
Right.
it is.
Right. Well, I mean, before I retired,
Yeah.
I my minimum was $1,000. So
Okay.
it didn't matter if it was a tub enclosure, it's a
Mm-hmm.
sliding bypass tub enclosure or a single door or whatever. It was just, hey, that's just my minimum. I mean, you could get a single frameless door and you could get it in Starfire,
Yeah.
for $1,000. But I mean, you've got your minimums, right? Your job minimums. So it's like, yeah, I mean, on the one hand, you could look at it like, yeah, you're paying $2,000 for a single door. Or you can look at it like, hey, you're paying $2,000 to have showcase shower door, do your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not everybody sees it that way, and that's totally cool. But some people do see it that way, and that's even cooler. Right? So it's cool to be, that guy. And it sounds like, you're kind of that guy in your area, and that's cool. I mean, not everybody is your customer. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
really take care of everybody.
And I did work hard to get us where we're at today. I mean, it was a lot of hard work. I mean, frameless shower doors were non-existent with my company 5 years. I mean, there was other companies that then I was like, okay, let me do this, man. I mean, they're pretty easy, and then I had more than 5 years ago, longer than that. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. This is funny because we were talking a couple weeks ago or something about coaching. And it's funny because Ryan, the the coach that he has, or the coaching team that he's working with is it's like one of my favorite authors
Oh, okay.
in business. And I mean it's out of my league. All right. I mean it's like I just don't at this point, make the kind of money that it would take to be able to hire them, right? And just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about this, and I said, "Oh, I can't afford coaching." And then I said, "Oh no, that's just that's a cop out to say that I can't afford it. It's like I just haven't figured out how to do it." And then I don't know if you guys remember this conversation. I was saying I could figure out a way, right? I mean, because I'm a negotiator. I could figure out a way to find a coach. Well, last week, I had this guy reach out to me on LinkedIn, and it's like you guys probably all, if you're on LinkedIn, you're probably being pitched constantly, and usually I get these like boilerplate pitches from people. Someone requests a connection, I connect. The next thing happens, I get this like template. They don't know anything about me. They haven't looked at me. They haven't looked at my business. They have no idea who I am, and they're just pitching some boilerplate thing. And I have actually responded to people and said, Hey, that is the lamest pitch I've ever seen. I'll tell you what, for $2,000, I'll write you a good pitch that will get you business. So that's what I started doing. I started like coming back and say, oh no, you need to buy from me, actually, because you're lame. You could have taken 10 minutes to do a Google search on me and find out who I am and see if I even need what you, or even interested in what you're selling. But instead you're going to send out like 1,000 of these um, templates to everybody and it's like, and you're just turning people off. I'd never do business with someone like that. Anyway, I digress. So I get a connection from this guy. He's like comes across like really professional and really like kind of unique. And so he wants an appointment with me, and he's somebody who helps small businesses scale and stuff, get funding, stuff like that. And I'm kind of in that place, right, where that's what I need. In fact, I was just talking about it. So I make an appointment with him. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll listen to your thing. So I get on this call with the guy. The guy was like really professional and really, really cool. We had a connection right away and listened to his thing and got to the end of his pitch and I told him, check it out. I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm going to be really transparent. It's like I don't have any money. I don't have any money to put into this. I mean, I believe what you're saying. I believe you can do what you're saying you can do, but you know, and he said, I don't care about that. I don't care about the money. It's like, here's the thing. I would work with you for equity in your company. And if I can build your company up, you give me shares in your company, and then I have to make you successful in order to get paid. Dude. And I said, I'll tell you what, we'll have another call in 2 days, and I'm going to do some market research. I'm going to come back to you with a proposal. So 2 days later, the guy came back and we had another call and he had this presentation. He had like done market research into my market, learned all about my competition, learned all about what I was doing, all the products that I offer. He gave me just a quick little questionnaire, just a few questions, about basically where I was at and what I needed to do. In fact, he had done that already before our first call. Um, And man, he had this like it dialed in. And I think we're going to be able to work together. And his fees and everything were pretty reasonable, anyway. And it was like, here, this is what we'll do. And he showed me how he was going to scale me 10x in 2 years. So I'll take you 10 times where you're at in 2 years. And this is how we're going to do it. Here's the first part, here's phase one, here's phase two, here's phase three. And yeah, I mean, I was just blown away. And I've always thought, look, if you're telling me that you can help me and you can grow my business like that, and you really can do that, you would do it on a contingency, right? Because if you're so sure you can make me successful, you'll take your money when it comes in. And this is what this guy is talking about doing. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna go with this guy. Um, And I'll tell you more about it, as we go along. But dude, I was like seriously, seriously impressed. I sell stuff. I make sales pitches every day. It's what I do. Um, and I've got a certain style. It's a pretty like low pressure style. I really don't like I know all the techniques. I don't like them all, but I like the just building a relationship, getting into a long-term thing, giving value first, right? Focus on service and just believing that if I provide enough service, um, I'm going to win in the end, right? Like Zig Ziglar would say, um, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get everything you want, right? That's how that works. And I believe it. I really do. So that's kind of what I've been doing this past week. And I got a couple of, made a couple of good sales this past week. Got a couple of new accounts that are pretty exciting. But yeah, I've been out, like pounding pavement, just like sales. I'm in sales mode, man. I'm like listening to sales audiobooks like all day, every day, and just putting those techniques into practice. So it's pretty fun, man.
Hey, who's going to Glassfield?
Everybody's going to class.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Yep, I'd
Sorry,
definitely be there.
It's
sorry, I
Vegas
changed the
this
subject.
year, right?
Sorry, I changed the subject, but I was gonna ask last week and I forgot, so I didn't want to get it today.
No, that's cool. It's all the same subject.
Finally made it back.
Yeah, that's a cool thing, Chris. I think equity is a cool idea and way to shape other things going forward too. Um, with like retention, customers, the new age, how do you ingrain Gen Z or the people that keep jobs on a 2 year average instead of a 20-year average? Like, we come from, it's like, well, skin in the game.
Hmm.
If like we always try to figure out commission-based structures and do you pay per performance? It's like, well, if you didn't, and then we move to pay per performance, now we got to create all these monitoring structures so that we get performance right and it's fair and the payout's right. And if we do it on cost per job, how come those people get larger jobs? And if we do it on skill, like all these things you got to build if you do it that way. But if you just rely on the formula being growth of company, scale of company, profit of this, or amount we increased after this benchmark, after these benchmarks are taken care of, and they agree on that, then they don't have to stay in their lane of their position. You don't have to worry about them going to the next dollar amount that's higher. They don't have to care if like I don't that's the office. I don't care about helping them. Oh, that's intake. Screw that guy. He needs to lose his job anyways. The whole attitude changes when every single action impacts their bottom line and if the company's going to do better and if they're going to get their increase because they are a part of the overall share of some kind of skin in the game. And I think that's a cool approach to take from anything. I love the business model of him saying to you, I'm gonna prove to you. But on the flip side of like people keeping retention and like the new formulas I'm seeing with AI replacing jobs and people fearing that on top of the hard ability to keep people on board before AI, it was hard to keep people. That was a common topic. Now with AI, it's probably going to be a little harder. And on top of certain positions, feeling fearful. But if they're ingrained in your growth or your profit as an employee of the company, no matter what role they shift into, then they don't care to bring to your attention something they saw that could take their job because they won't. They'll hide it, they'll poison it, they'll sabotage it. They'll have every reason economically to care for their family, financially, for stability of what they've promised their monthly bills. And if they introduce to you this way that takes on away their position, they're hurting themselves. So there's no incentive. There's so much incentive for them to do the opposite nowadays. With the way things are shifting. And I like the idea of coming in with some way where whoever's helping you doesn't care how it's happening. All they care is that it's helping you. Instead of like, is this going to replace me? I shouldn't tell them this. Like that no matter who's helping you, that it might be in their head. And I love creating a formula where that's not.
Yeah, and I think that like this group, the Shardor Professionals group, Facebook group, has really proven over the years false the idea that we can't work together or that we have to keep secrets from each other or like, it's not safe to share strategies or methods or whatever with other people in our industry. That doing that actually benefits us all. Like I benefit personally from being willing to talk about what works for me, what's helped, me be successful in different ways. Um, and another interesting thing is that I'm realizing more people are like me than I really thought. Now, I've always seen myself as being a real outlier, a real outsider, a real strange bird, and I think, I still think I am. But the idea of like not being so, um, there's more to it than money and like wanting to be fulfilled in more ways than just financially. And I used to think I was kind of like the only one like that. And what I'm realizing is that everybody is really like that. I mean, they may not realize it, or it might not be front of mind to them, but there's more to it than just money. I mean, it's like I used to think that I had to be able to offer people a certain amount of money, um, in order to get them on board. But really, they're looking for fulfillment in their work, looking for being part of a team. They're looking for being part of a culture, and part of a thing of just where they're respected and valued and can bring their opinions, can bring their creativity and contribute that. Um, that's really way more real and way more prevalent than I ever thought. And I don't know, I'm finding that surprising in a way and refreshing in a big way. That it's cool. Like, when I was looking for my assistant, I put it out there and interviewed quite a few people, 10 or 12 people. And I was basically telling all of them, hey, like this job doesn't pay very much. And it's just, not very many hours to start. And the work's kind of hard. And it's going to be changing all the time. It's going to be, it's going to be, it's chaotic. I really sold it, And people wanted to do it. It was like the more transparent I was about what we had to offer and what the job was like, the more interested people were. Because I knew I wasn't just blowing smoke. I mean, nobody would lie about, about that. And sometimes just starting in that place of like, hey, I'm just going to be really honest with you. This is how it is. And, people were responded to that. And I ended up, the assistant I've got is a great guy, Andy. He's really working out well. But the next person who I was considering hiring was a woman who, man, I was super impressed with. And when we had our interview, it was like I knew that there was more going on than met the eye. And it was just the way that she was answering questions and like kind of things that she wasn't saying that made me feel like, hey man, I don't know. I think this person would be a great team member. Um, but even like we're like just overqualified. Like why is she even like applying for this job? Because I could just tell that she wasn't like an administrative assistant kind of, quality of person. She was more like an administrator, But anyway, I ended up hiring her. I ended up going with this guy. And then, but afterwards I circled back and I emailed her and I said, hey, this may sound weird or whatever, but can we have another call? Because I just wanted to talk to you a little bit more because I really would like to figure out how to get you on the team. So at sometime in the future, and it's just like sure. And we had another call, and I got to kind of ferret out, a little bit more information, without being too invasive or whatever. It's like, hey, I just got the feeling that you've got some experience that you really didn't talk about. And what I learned was that yeah, she had helped, had been involved in helping startups, go big time and stuff like that, um, and that she's a systems person. I was like, what is your thing? What is your, your jam, and that's what it is, systems, which totally made sense. I kind of made like, okay, yeah, that makes everything kind of gel. But but I said, is there any way, I mean, is there any way we could work together? Because she wanted to work, she wanted to be part of what we're doing, I mean, I could tell. And it's like, I've got nothing to offer you in terms of finances. I mean, would it be insulting, you know, to offer you just like a few hours here or there at like some reduced, rate, the hopes that if this thing takes off, we could really get you, on board. And she was totally open to that idea. And actually, we made a little deal. It's like, hey, just for a little chunk of time here and there, help me build this educational program that I want to build. And yeah, I was like, we just spend 4 hours working on it. And she agreed to do that. And then like what she gave me back after 4 hours was just like an incredible amount of work. I mean, it's just like stunning what she did in 4 hours, you know, which I just knew, I had this intuition about that, about her and about that, So we've never actually met before. We've just only talked, via Zoom calls or whatever. And she's going to come by tomorrow for the first time just to see our operation and meet in person. But man, there are like uh, some great people out there that man, if you just like, I don't know, honest, genuine, shoot straight, um, people are looking for that. Way more than they are looking for the dollar. Because you can make a buck anywhere. But making friends, making long-term relationships is, that happens. That's rare, right? Yeah, I mean, especially in business, it's like it's rare to really connect with people and be able to build something together kind of from scratch. I think people are looking for that opportunity. And that's the thing that we all have in common is like we're all building, we're creating something, we're all inventing. And man, getting people on your team who want to do that with you, uh, it's just priceless. And it's tricky. It's tricky to like let people come in, to your world like that because it's a very intimate place, and like trusting somebody and like and being vulnerable enough to let someone get in there and like start tinkering around, I mean, it's like not everybody can do that. So I want to develop that skill. That's a muscle that I'm learning to flex is like, hey man, just like let people. Okay, what's the worst that could happen? It might mess something up a little bit, but who knows what you might learn in the process of that, or you might accidentally strike gold like that. I don't know. Just saying, it's fun. I think you can tell. I'm like I'm having fun doing this. It's weird. It's just so different than anything I've ever tried before.
It's almost like you're not hiring people, you're building a whole leadership team.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
exactly the goal.
Yeah. Even if you did give up a bit of equity here and there, it will probably just pay for itself. Like you said, 10x or so much that, a big part or, a large chunk of something big is better than the whole pie of something small.
And that is so true. It's funny. I went to inventors school. There's this program called Invent Right. This guy named Stephen Key who started it, and he has a partner, and these two guys started up this kind of school for inventors. And this guy is a really cool guy. I really admire him, and um, what he started was figuring out how to take ideas and sell them to companies, um, as as a licensee, right? As a licensor, so that a company would take the idea and license it, and they would actually do the manufacturing and do all the marketing and do all the selling, and then you just get a little bit of it, right? And usually it's about 5%. That's kind of standard. So, 5%, maybe 10%, it just depends on how much work or how much you really bring to the table. Um, a great model. I love it. And I did it, man, I think I was with them for probably a year. I learned a lot of great skills, learned a lot of like cold calling skills and just researching skills and how to write a patent application and get, provisional patents and stuff like that. It was really cool. And that model hasn't really worked out for me yet. I ended up going kind of a different direction. But that idea of bringing your idea to someone and letting them run with it, and then just getting like a residual from it, right? Imagine if you have a really big idea and you get 5% of it. I mean, it could end up being like millions and millions of dollars. The guys who and you I got a chance to hear like a lot of stories, and meet a lot of other, people who are product developers, who come up with ideas. And one of the greatest ones ever is like, the little electric toothbrush, it's called spin brush. And it's
Yeah.
kind of like a cheap little, it's almost like a disposable electric toothbrush. So these guys took the idea. I don't know if you've ever seen this other thing. It's a toy. It's a sucker, like a lollipop, right? That's motorized and it spins. So it's a little like a toy for its candy toy combination. It was huge. It's been a huge hit. And it's just a sucker that goes on a little motorized thing. You push the button and the sucker spins. So the kid gets to put it in their mouth and make it spin. Well, they took this idea of this spinning sucker and made a toothbrush out of it. And that's kind of the basis of this thing. How can we take this thing and make it into a toothbrush? So kind of a disposable electric toothbrush that runs on a battery. So it took some work. It took some work. They figured, okay, this has to be under like $10. It has to last on one battery for 3 months or whatever, like whatever a normal toothbrush lasts, right? And they figured it out and they figured it and they figured it and they worked on it and they finally dialed it in and made it work. And it was a huge hit. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by glassgadget.com. Showcase Innovations creates tools that help shower door installers be more efficient and save time. Check out glassgadget.com for more information. And ended up, it ended up being sold to like Procter and Gamble or something. They paid like $1 billion for it or something, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But they just kind of took something that already existed, kind of repurposed it, rejiggered it, to make something, you know, something similar but completely different, right? And it reminds me of like used to like to watch the Shark Tank show, Someone come on there, they've got an idea, and like the sharks would be like, "Oh, I'll give you, $100,000 for 40% of your thing or whatever," and sometimes they'd make a deal and sometimes they'd walk away. And I always thought, as a product developer myself, I'd always think, man, you're crazy to walk away from a deal. I mean, even if it's a lower amount of money and you're giving away more equity than you want, just the opportunity to work with one of these guys And it's like it's not the last idea you're ever gonna have, right? I mean, if you had a good idea, something good enough that someone like that is willing to work with you on it, or they see the value in it. I mean, that all by itself is an opportunity. I mean, if you broke even on it, um, the opportunity to work with someone like that and the experience that you're going to get and the connections you're going to get and the world you're going to live in and the circles you're going to run in, um, it's a no-brainer to me. And it's hard for me to understand how people were unable to see that. And that happens all the time. People walk right past me.
because they get so emotionally attached to their product or whatever it is that they just can't see anything beyond it. Like you said, regardless of the valuation, just the fact that you have a direct line to someone at such an elite level is worth the cost of admission on its own.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's still putting rocket fuel on your product, regardless of what the percentage is. So,
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna make a buck.
yep,
I mean,
they're not going to come in on the intention of losing money. So,
right, exactly.
you know,
Yeah, yeah, everything's negotiable, and you can always renegotiate things, you
yeah,
know. Um, yeah, I mean, if you get in, you get into a relationship with someone, and you're not getting the deal that you think you deserve, you sit down, and if you're reasonable and diplomatic, you can usually renegotiate up, get a better deal for yourself.
sure.
Hmm.
It's just all about being on the team, and like, yeah,
I'm sure we're
Yeah, I
going
always
to
felt the
hear all
same
that
way when I watched Shark Tank.
yeah. I was like, wow, yeah. I mean, you just being on there, just having the opportunity to, you have to score pretty high just to get on there,
just for the exposure. Yeah.
just for the exposure.
Hmm.
And for someone like that, and especially when people, they start to bid against each other and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're killing it. If you're in that position, and I've seen people in that position walk away with no deal.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's immediately what I thought of. A few examples where someone did have multiple people bidding and they still walked away because they had valued, they just felt like they didn't say the vision the right way. They said a certain key phrase and then the sharks attached their idea of what that business could look like and negated that owner's like vision of what the company was going to be. And sometimes they just can't detach themselves, like, no, this was supposed to be in the store shelves, like that was my North Star. And they're like, bro, the end caps of shelves and the rotation rate of them and how hard it is to get into the stores at the end cap where this product needs to be, we've lived this 100 times over, and this is why the vision we have is completely different. And that's like, I've had that conversation with my wife as they walk away, like, why the hell wouldn't they do that? Like, is it pride? Is it ego? Are they tied into someone else? Or is it just mom's vision was different? Or I wanted every kid to have it in this way, not the digital version of what they pitched, or vice versa. There's sometimes where I don't understand why they don't go with Lori, um, the QVC queen, for certain products when they envision it as a like bougie brand play, and everyone knows it's obviously a mass production play. And yeah, that people's the romanticism of what their idea is, right? That's where I think their feelings is really what kills it. And I hate Mr. Wonderful at some times, but I find myself always thinking like him and looking at every business deal in the sense the way he does. So crude, and so what's in it for me, and so how can I get a residual of what perpetuity is his favorite word. Like, whatever deal we make, how do I make sure I get paid forever? That's all. If you want to work with me, I'm getting paid forever, and then I'll start thinking about how I can work with you. And that's and a lot of the other sharks call them a lot of mean names for it, but I think that's such a great way to say I'm going to have your buy-in no matter what beyond the first year of this show, so you can do a cool rerun segment next year where we are now, and then you exit and don't. But if they have some sort of skin in the game forever, that's where I love that idea of, well, will Damon John let a company fail underneath him? Maybe, but I think he'll try a little harder to push my company. If he has equity, skin, perpetuity, something like that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's another angle. It's like there's a lot of different ways to come at it, right? And that's his way, that's what's working for him. So I
Almost
don't
like the
know.
guy who's pitching to coach you, investing the value he sees of not money but time,
Mhm.
with the goal of I want something of what we build forever because I know what I can build. And that whole beautiful scenario of, well, if you do it, I'd love to be number 12 at Apple over number one at Steve's Garage. Like, that's fucking fine with me. I'm still at 1,000x of what I would have made per year with probably a lot less effort, and the ability to go and like, uh, the other things. That's the even if it's a crappy deal in some cases, I'm like, well, just me being in this room, attaching myself to them will guarantee that the next five ideas I have, when I walk in and say who's I'm partnered with in one of my businesses, I just skipped five doors. Like, I'm not talking to every owner of every company I'm talking to once I tell them where I was, even if I'm not talking to them about the company that won that deal. Doesn't matter. Like, you're doing it for that foot in the door. Like, that's, yeah, such a great way. I like his model of attaching to you, the coaching element, the advertising element. If they're going to run ads for you, like, hey, you don't pay a dime unless we bring you something. Now let's agree on what a closed lead is and how much you want to pay me per lead. If you're already paying a tile guy $100 for every closed deal he sends you, why wouldn't you make the same deal at $50 a closed deal with your ad guy, and leave it on him to close you 10 guys or not? Most people want to do, and I pay you per rate, you do what you do, and I just trust you're going to be working hard. But I mean, if just test trying to do an incentive-based strategy with someone where they only get paid on how many leads they bring you and see how creative they get at bringing those leads to you.
Well said. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And it's because here's the thing, it's like I can't do what this guy does.
No.
Okay. I mean, I can't. It's not what I do, right? I'm not, man, it's like he's done this, you know, a number of times. He's like, got a lot of clients. He's done this a lot of times. He's very, very confident. And it's like, you know, I told him what industry I'm in. He went and researched it. And he came back and said, okay, yeah, I look, did the market research, and yeah, there's a future in this, what you're doing. And here's who your competitors are, and here's where you're at now, and this is what you've got going on. And if you need to build this much, this up this much, this area up this much in this amount of time, and then from there we'll consolidate that. We'll get some SBA loans. We'll like roll it into this, roll it into that, and just you know having somebody with experience, with knowledge, look at my what I'm doing, my operation, and the market I'm in, and go, wow, yeah, there's something here. I'd be willing to get involved in that. Well, that's a huge shot in the arm right there, man. It's like, wow, okay, it's confirmation that like I'm like in the right place. I'm going in the right direction. And then yeah, I mean, and then to have someone who will like coach me and say, okay, hey, we'll set targets. So I don't have to do all that. I mean, I mean, a lot of people can probably do that for themselves, and I could probably learn to do a better. I mean, I do, you know, on the level that I'm at, I've set goals. I've got my little post-its up, say, hey, do this. When I do it, I date it and I move it over there. I'm like, I did that. So I can do
And
that. But I mean, this is like high level, like goal setting and stuff. And to have someone who can do that and then help me, hold me accountable to it, especially if he bought in. Now he's bought in now, man. It's like, oh man, now you know, I've got to perform, right? Because now I've got somebody else to that I'm accountable to, that I've got to live up to, my promise, which is a big deal for me. It's like keeping my promise is a big deal. Not 100% at it, but I try to hit pretty close to that, because it's just a big part of my identity, right? It's what makes me feel good. Um, so yeah, like all of that is just kind of that feedback that like, okay, yeah, I'm on track. And just knowing, like I said, before on one of these calls, it's like, man, I know that people who are high performers really need to be coached, because a coach can like focus you. You can see like where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are, get you on track, and see like where you're, you know, wasting time, or where you could really uh, be excelling. And you can't do that by yourself. You just can't.
No, I'm guilty of that too. I swear, the worst ADHD out of anything.
Yeah.
I get so much tunnel vision on one task that nothing else matters. So you need outside things just to put the guardrails up and bring you back in.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It's like, yeah. I mean, I do pretty good. But yeah, I've got that totally ADHD thing, like Zoom, man. I'm like, I'm here. Oh, here I'm over
Yeah,
there.
shiny object.
Right, shiny objects. Like,
Yeah,
this
even
is
if you get an
fun.
accidental coach, like I found that my accidental coach, when people talk about coaches, I always think like I have one and I have to correct myself because no, I don't. At the moment, I was in coaching communities before, and there was a lot of top-down directives of do this, do that, analyzation of you need to do these things next. But what I found over the years of having different, very high ticket coaching, different structures and communities for different projects I've worked on, the most beneficial one was the executive assistant I hired recently over the last few months.
Huh.
What I realized was the coaching thing I needed of someone telling me, get up, let's go to the gym. You said 10 reps. You said you were going to do this. It wasn't the coming from above a week later to tell me how bad when I report how much I didn't fill in the sheet I needed to fill in, and I didn't do my time blocking, and I didn't show them where my activity was. So they couldn't properly coach and analyze my performance if they had no data on what my performance was. But when I hired someone reverse, it was my assistant who I told, make sure I do not drop the ball. And here's the front lines of all the communication I have. So you're responsible making sure I get back to them, and you'll lose your job if people say I haven't got back to them because I'm giving you the front end communication lines. And that has been the best coaching for me because it's been the reverse accountability. Hey, you still got those three other things. I'm tunnel vision on one project that's super important to me, but she's there to remind me you could spend 8 hours on this, Rob, but it's this hour and you're late on this thing, or remember you have these two other things to knock out and record for someone. And now I have someone telling me what to do still, but it's not a coach and it's someone I'm listening to because yeah, it's just been the best feeling I've got hasn't been from the coaches of extreme improvement in my performance and effectiveness. It's just the idea that I could be was always in my head when I got the top down coaching. When I hired someone underneath, it's no longer the idea how good I could get with this system. It was me forcing to build the system and maintain it. I'm in the water, I'm on the boat. If there are leaks, we're going to sink. Um, it's not prepping the boat with a super coach way before and saying this is going to work so well when we get on heavy waters. I'm in the waters with this assistance, and it's my job to keep us afloat. And she's actively helping me, and then creating the SOPs, which would have repaired that leak next time. First, it's asking me, how do we fix this? What do we do? And also, Rob, I'm going to go create the documentation to copy what we just did. So now it lives in a book where if you hire someone else, or if I ask again, I'll go to our playbook we make. And that's been the best thing for me of not seeking the upper coach, seeking the bottom assistant, which freed me to be coached by her in some weird way because of the ADD stuff, right?
Wow.
It's still the accountability partner.
Right? You don't always need a fitness coach. Sometimes you need a guy to say, "Hey, we're going to go to the gym every day." That's it. I don't need you to know how to use the weights. I just need you to call me and say, "Bro, you said we're going to go every day. I'm at your door." Like sometimes it's just that.
Yep.
Dude, it's a dog, that comes and like, barks at you, man. It's like hey, it's time to go for a walk.
Yeah.
It doesn't have, yeah, it could be like, dude, that was brilliant. What you just said there, man, was like spoke to me in a big way. It's like, wow, it's so like counterintuitive, man. It's so like the opposite of like what's conventional. And I love that, man. I absolutely love that because I find like most wisdom lives there and the opposite of what everybody thinks. And that makes so much sense because that's what an executive assistant is supposed to do, right? It's supposed to make you do your job. They're like they're doing stuff for you, right? But they can't do what they're supposed to do for you if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And they have skin in the game. It's like, hey man, you've got to, like you're saying, you got to keep this boat floating or I'm going to sink with you. And it's a whole different feeling when someone's counting on you, right? It's like, your consultant, they have a vested interest in you succeeding because their reputation is on the line. If you fail, um, they'll it doesn't look good for them. Uh, but when it's your subordinate, it's your employee. I mean, they literally like it's their job that's on the line. They don't have another client or a whole bunch of other clients to worry
My
about.
assistant harassed me relentlessly for a certain task that wasn't a big deal to me. Someone's put in a support ticket. She answered it. I was like, oh, she's on top of it. Then she asked me a direct question. I didn't get back to it because I'm in the middle of answering 15 others, and yours is probably low priority. I'm answering. And 5 messages later, over a 4 hour period, a WhatsApp, an email, a text, and then an at from a platform. Um, she was persistent. Like, would that task have got done had I not, would that support ticket have been addressed as fast had she not done that? Probably not. When would I have gotten to it? I'm not sure. But without a team and a database and these things put in, I only get one more automation to tell me I'm behind on a task. But with the person, I get an execution. I get I get that. And I found whenever I was doing the big coaching communities, I just walked away every week feeling more disappointed in myself when I didn't finish what we said I needed to do. Uh, Instead of like the opposite, where every week I meet with her and every day I'm feeling accomplished because man, we got a few more things done and I didn't do them. This is sweet. And I like the outcome of how she did these 3 things. I don't have to do those 3 things anymore. Awesome. I didn't even imagine that I hired her to not do those things anymore, but working with someone was awesome. The only great thing that came from the coaching thing that you don't have to pay for is the community part they added. Working hours. They added a working hour session twice a week. Anybody's free to join. And you can do this same thing with your friends, with your coworkers, with whoever. Like, hey, we're gonna meet. People do this now physically at coffee shops. There's little mom groups and dad groups. Like, let's just meet together at a place. I'm gonna tell you I'm working on this thing and then I'm going to go silent for an hour. All 5 of us have our laptops open on a Zoom call or whatever. But now, face to face for the next hour, I told you what I was going to work on. And if I start TikToking or Facebooking or scrolling, if I have a phone call and you see me on the Zoom call, I have now lied to you. I'm accountable to the people I showed up in this working session with to tell them I need to get back to these 20 emails or this drive, or I need to answer these 5 estimates. And I need all outside sources cut off so I can do them efficiently and knock them out all in a row. And most of us say that and then get distracted so many times in that block. But when you have a co-working session with someone physically somewhere else or over a call in that hour, you're kind of having your own free accountability group or peers who don't even speak to each other. I would log in, work for the full hour, and someone in the beginning would, hey guys, we're here. I'm gonna put on some thinking music and we're gonna work together. And like 15 or 20 minutes in, they play a timer and be like, hey, we would suggest you get up, stretch, have some water, and we're gonna have the timer go off in 2 minutes when you should be back at your desk. And
Yeah.
over that hour, they had maybe like three breaks that they suggested you take so that, and at the end, fill in the blank of how'd you do on your task? Did you need any help? Is there someone you would like to chat with that you think could help you? And just a cool thing I noticed from that community that I've seen people practice outside of that coaching community. That's super cool, uh, free to do, and same thing as a gym partner concept, but it's a work concept. Business owners getting together to work on their own business and not bother each other, but just to be accountable that in this hour, I'm just going to work on my business with you. And then that alone is a good, people have reported that has worked so well for them. Not some crazy idea I have. Just people have reported that, and I'm here to report the data that people say this is working for them.
Love it. That's a cool idea.
Great idea.
Yeah. Just that little bit of accountability, and especially when you're kind of a lone ranger and you're used to just, self-starter, get up early, get started. I've got a plan, doing stuff, work all day, work all day, stop, have some lunch, go back to work, stop and have some dinner, go back to work, and take a little break here, maybe watch, an hour of TV or something, just unwind, but like just, pretty much working all day. But, is it always really productive? Or that's another thing, right? And so I know that like um there's more. I could be working more efficiently. I could be that's not really accomplishing more. Really need to accomplish more, but to be more efficient, more effective. I'd be spending more time on what's to get to where I'm doing what I really love and I'm really great at all the time. That's the goal, really.
Hmm.
Because I know that's the sweet zone. That's my genius zone, right? And I really haven't quite figured out exactly what that is. But I know that, with if I get in the right group of people, they'll help me discover that. So, and that, I mean, that's really what this is like for me. It's like I've been uh just kind of thinking about like these calls. It's like, man, we're up to like, I don't know, 270 uh
Dang.
times we've done this. I'm like thinking, man, are we gonna keep doing this? It's like, how long are we gonna keep doing this? I mean, are you guys, do you guys still like doing it? Apparently, I mean, you're showing up. But it's like what because I was talking to Billy Britt like a month or so ago, man. We had a call. Yeah, we'll have a call every once in a while, just check in with each other. And it's like, he asked me, he's like, hey man, how long are you gonna do that? I don't know. I don't know, man. People still come on, people still show up to talk, it's changed a lot though. I mean, it's become more of a business call now, right? Than it is like a shower door call, which is pretty interesting.
There was a lot of shower specific questions and answers, and now it's definitely general business, for mostly, absolutely.
Yeah. So I still like it, I still like it a lot. I get a lot out of it. And just even, just being doing this and hashing it out, talking about what we're reading or just like the little gems, man, that you guys share sometimes. It's like, wow, it might be just a sentence, but it's like, wow, it really lands with me. And it's like, man, it gives me some motivation or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll probably
Well,
keep doing this.
we're not going to give this up anytime soon.
All right, cool. What do you think,
I enjoy
Daniel?
it. I enjoy it. It's always a good outside perspective from, I mean, essentially, I don't mean this in a weird way, but like you could drop off the face of the earth and essentially it wouldn't affect our daily routines. Like if something happened, but so it's a good outside perspective from people that really have no direct tie to your daily stuff, and you're not directly involved in your business, so they can speak without an outside perspective, basically. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
it's a good call. I mean, it's really just like a conference call with some friends, in the industry.
It's weird how often I'll talk to people who tell me that they always go back and listen or watch and have it on in the background while they do stuff. Um, and I might not talk to them to like, oh yeah, I watched that last year, and I we're seeing y'all in the group, and I finally wanted to reach out and ask about fill in the blank, because I'm always talking about different software things that are follow up glass, and then are maybe five other softwares I might have talked about, and I name drop a lot of things. But if something really piqued their interest in a previous episode, I'll get like a phone call or a message, and I'll think back like, how long ago did I say that? Like, I don't remember doing that in the last month or two. It's just evidence like they're just randomly watching different episodes or listening in different spots and expecting to hear us the next week. I've had people hit me up to say my phone quality is trash, or my when I talk, they can't hear me at all. So it made me get this whole headset. Like the whole reason I have this is the three different people over like a 3 month span who told me that when they went back to listen they couldn't really understand a lot of the things they were saying, which led them to message me to ask for clarity. I was
Ah,
like,
it's a
oh,
good
well,
strategy.
people are listening. Let me just speak garble all the time so people have to. No, but I enjoy the call. I enjoy showing up to all kinds of calls I'm invited to and a part of, especially because perspective.
Yeah.
I know I'm very digital face driven. I know where the world's going, but I know I could have some ideas that I think are unfailable. This is concrete. There's no way they're not going to think this is a great idea. But then when you actually talk to the business owners here, there's a whole different perception that y'all have about what you want, who's in your company that's going to even adopt it. And even if I convinced you, you have 10 office people, salespeople that are going to have to be convinced to use this new technique, this new task, do it this new way. And understanding that helps me not invest too much money in things that are 3 years away when I think they're 3 days away. Because the people in the room, the business owners in the room saying that sounds cool, that might work for that division, that company, and you might see great stats for that product and that service in that area, but for us that's not real. We've tried these and here's how we have to go going forward. And me thinking I can buy my idea of a solution and bring it to people who aren't ready and aren't going to adopt it at all, like, is a waste of time. And it helps y'all as business owners understand if someone is having a model that's working great, like Billy Britt, where he might quote virtually and get deposits before going on site, and figuring out years of doing business like that and dynamics where he hasn't gone out of business. In fact, he's excelled and is blessed beyond measure while coming back from being absolutely decimated as a business, wiped out by a natural disaster,
Yeah.
and being able to recover with his model tells you, well, the model might not work in my head, but have I tried it? And maybe I can try it and see in a silo and see if it works or doesn't work. But you would have probably claimed that that would have never worked for no one unless someone you met on a call said, actually, we're doing it this way. We made this much and we are killing everybody. Um, and understanding like that's directly from different owners, while others say, we've lost so much business using those tactics. We have to get on the call. And it might incentivize you as a different owner to be like, hey, I heard something. Let's try calling of our customer base. And then all of a sudden you get a lot more closed deals and you get those jobs on your schedule. And it wouldn't have happened if you didn't hear that one nugget from another owner that said it worked for them. Try it out, whether it be digital measuring or these fabrication tools we're talking about, or there's so many nuggets I've heard from here that always incentivize me to just show up, talk, or shut up and listen. Because there's calls where I've decided not to talk at all because I'm like, you think you talked 30% on that last call. Just have one where they can say what they're thinking.
Hey,
But it's always,
you could get a tracker on here, like a scoreboard, and has some AI generated thing that documents or tracks the time that you've been talking,
Oh, I'm
so we
sure.
can see who's been talking the most. It'd be a fun little metric.
I think I have that already. I saw it
Right.
before. Yeah.
It's like a little chart that just constantly is going up and down for everybody.
I'm the host, so I have to talk all the time, right? But
I'll find those tools.
yeah, I'm sure it's just like one click away. Yeah, awesome, man. Well put. I don't know what to add to that, you know? I'll think of something though.
I think it should just let people know to have an open mind, because what works for one person doesn't work for another. So, I mean, if you think you're trying something that's crazy, well, maybe it's not so crazy, and just try something, if anything. Don't be afraid to try something different.
Totally, totally. And like kind of like Robert was alluding to, it's like you can like build a sandbox and experiment in there. You know, you can do your thing, the thing that you
Yeah.
normally do, but you can have a little, you know, do a little experiment, you know, something that's not going to hurt you if it doesn't work.
Hmm.
But it seems like it's like committing to something, right? And just being all in. Like Billy, like talking about Billy's system. It's like, man, that's a scary thought to start doing that. Like this is our policy. This is how we're going to do it. And it's something that's kind of crazy. It sounds kind of crazy to the average person. And to be all in and fully committed to that I think that's what it takes. To be kind of in half in and half out, it'll never work.
No.
You know, but you have to be all in on it. And then stay there when it's not working, right? When it looks like it's not working. And stay in it long enough for it to work. I mean, that takes a certain something that not everybody has. But yeah, there's more than one way to do it for sure, you know, and a lot of different ways that'll work. We just have to really own it, it seems like. But nice. Well, hey, thanks for showing up, man. I think I'll come back and do this again next week. You will.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Have a good one, guys. Hey, don't blow anything up, you know, accidentally this
Guys,
weekend.
happy 4th there, gentlemen.
Thanks, man.
Happy for it.
See you guys next week.
Yeah.